I'm Brent Goff. It's good to have you with us. We begin tonight with the Palestinians, the Israelis, and accusations of war crimes. Today, the International Criminal Court opened an investigation into alleged war crimes committed in the Palestinian territories since 2014. The probe will target both the Israeli military and the Palestinian militant group Hamas. It comes after the ICC ruled last month that it had jurisdiction over territories occupied by Israel, including the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Authority has welcomed the investigation, while Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has accused the court of hypocrisy and anti-Semitism. All right, for more now, we can go to Jerusalem. Our correspondent Tanya Kramer is on the story for us. Good evening to you, Tanya. Despite Israel's attempts to postpone the decision, the prosecutor has announced the opening of an investigation into war crimes. What more do we know tonight?
Well, as you said, that has been a long process after a nearly five-year-long preliminary investigation, and also after the decision back in February, just last month, by a panel of 3 judges who had ruled that indeed the ICC has jurisdiction over the occupied West Bank, Gaza and East Jerusalem. Now, the chief prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda, had referred this matter to the panel of 3 judges back in December 2019, when she concluded that there are grounds to open a formal investigation against Israeli and Palestinian individuals for alleged war crimes, but she had to refer to the panel of 3 judges to get their opinion on the jurisdiction. Now we are expecting this investigation to deal with everything that happened after 2014, the Gaza war between Israel and Hamas, then the issue of construction of settlements in the occupied territory, as well as possibly the actions of the Israeli military against Palestinian protesters along the Gaza fence during 2018. So today, Fatou Bensouda in her statement also said that she will decide on the priorities in the coming weeks, also given the challenges by the pandemic and also the workload of the office of the prosecutor.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, too. The list of possibilities there is very long. We know that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he has called this decision anti-Semitic and absurd. What can he do now?
Well, that is a good question. Of course, Israel also has now a period of time to answer to this opening of the investigation. But the reaction by the Israeli Prime Minister doesn't come as a surprise. Already last month, he had called that decision by the judges by the ICC as anti-Semitic. This has been a long-held view by Israel that the court is overstepping its mandate and that this is a highly politicized issue and that the court actually doesn't have jurisdiction. Now, we also have to mention this is kind of a consensus in Israeli politics. We heard from several other political leaders tonight being highly critical of this decision by the ICC, not by all parties, but by most. I have to mention that because we're also in the middle of an election campaign. There are elections in 3 weeks, and some of his political rivals will certainly use this against Mr. Netanyahu because it happened on his watch. But again, this is a decision that will go beyond party politics and beyond this election. This will keep Israeli politics busy for years to come. So on the Palestinian side, of course, this decision was warmly welcomed. We had a statement from the Foreign Ministry saying that this will lead to accountability and justice. And you have to say the Palestinians have been working very diligently on this issue to internationalize, to go and join international organizations. And so they hope that somehow Israel will be held accountable for what it does here in this conflict.
Okay, DW's Tanya Kramer with the latest tonight in Jerusalem. Tanya, as always, thank you.